3 cows had died on Kincaid's ranch, and he had already spent money he did not have on better hay. Anna Mercer took one look at the full feed racks, then at the cattle crowding a nearly empty trough while the windmill turned above them. The problem, she thought, might not be what he was feeding them. It might be what the ranch was failing to give them at all. The train left Anna at a Wyoming rail, siding with one trunk, a wool coat too thin for the wind, and a folded newspaper notice in her pocket. The notice asked for a housekeeper who could keep accounts, cook for 3 people, and tolerate isolation through winter. It did not mention dying cattle. Elias Kincaid met her with a wagon and a face that seemed built for withholding judgment. He was somewhere past 40. Narrow through the shoulders, with the tired look of a man who had been subtracting losses for too many weeks. He took her trunk, set it in the wagon, and asked whether she still wanted the position. Anna asked how far the ranch was. 9 miles, then I suppose I have 9 miles to decide. He almost smiled. Almost. The road climbed out of the railroad cut and opened onto hard winter range. Snow lay in the low places and blew clean from the ridges. Kincaid talked only when Anna asked something direct. He ran 68 head of cattle, most of them bred cows, and 11 horses. The first hard freeze had come early. Since then, 3 cows had gone down. Several more were losing weight. A man from town had told him the hay might be too poor for a bad winter, so Kincaid had paid to bring in better feed from farther east. And they still look like that? Anna asked. He followed her eyes. The herd stood in a rough crescent near the home pasture. Their winter coats were thick, but some held themselves with a dull, low-headed patience. 2 cows nosed at the feed rack without eating. Another scraped at crusted snow with a hoof. They eat some, Kincaid said. Not enough. Anna looked past them toward a timber trough below a windmill, a cluster of cattle pressed around it. How much water are they taking? Enough. Mill runs whenever there's wind. Above the trough the wheel was turning steadily. Anna said nothing else. The house was smaller than the one she had imagined from the notice, but warmer. Her room was behind the kitchen. There was a narrow bed, a washstand, and a peg on the wall for her coat. She put her clothes in the chest and placed her account book on the table beside the window. She had learned accounts after her husband died because numbers were one of the few things grief could not argue with. As a girl on a dry Nebraska farm, every summer had taught her about wells, pumps, troughs, rain barrels, and the cost of assuming water would arrive simply because a machine was moving. Her father had never called any of it engineering. He had called it staying alive until September. By supper, she knew 2 things about the ranch. Kincaid kept decent records on cattle purchases, feed, breeding dates, wages, and debts. He kept almost none on water. There was 1 line in the expense ledger for a pump repair in August, another for a new section of pipe 2 years earlier, and nothing that told her how much water the herd actually received from one day to the next. That evening, after dishes, she went outside. Kincaid saw her take the lantern. "Barn's the other way," he said. "I'm not going to the barn." The cattle had settled except for 6 still standing near the trough. Anna held the lantern low and broke a skin of new ice with the heel of her glove. The water beneath was only a few inches deep. A thin stream entered at one end. Not a stream, really, a pulse. Water, then air, then water again. Above her the windmill turned. She waited. The trough did not fill. 1 cow pushed past another, dropped its muzzle, and drank until the water fell below the pipe. The next cow had to wait for the shallow end to gather again. Anna stood and looked across the pasture. Several animals were licking snow where it had drifted against the fence. Kincaid had followed her out. "They do that every winter," he said. "Do they always have to?" He looked at the trough. "The mill's turning. I can see that." The answer irritated him. She could hear it in the silence after. Anna took a small pocket knife from her coat and cut a shallow notch into the inside rim of the trough at the present waterline. "What are you doing?" "Making tomorrow easier to compare with tonight." He looked at the notch, then at her. "You came to keep books. This is a book. It just doesn't have paper yet." He went back inside without answering. Before daylight, Anna returned with a lantern and a ruler from the desk drawer. The water sat below her mark. The windmill was still turning. She checked again after breakfast, then at noon, then before supper. The level rose only when the trough had been nearly emptied. Even then it rose slowly. In the account book she made a new page. Wind strong, mill turning, trough low, cattle crowding. By the second day she stopped watching the trough and started watching the line that fed it. The pump house stood beneath the windmill tower, a rough box of boards with a door that dragged over frozen dirt. Inside, the pump rod worked with each turn above. The mechanism sounded regular. Water moved through the delivery line toward the pasture. Anna followed that line as far as she could. Most of it disappeared beneath packed earth and snow. Cal Dorsey, Kincaid's hired hand, found her walking beside the buried root with a broom handle in one hand. Cal was broad, gray at the temples, and suspicious of unnecessary effort. Low something? Maybe. What? Water. He looked toward the windmill. It's right there. Some of it is. She used the broom handle to probe the snow where the line crossed a shallow dip before reaching the trough. Most places the ground was hard enough to ring beneath the wood. At one spot the snow had a glassy crust over it. Not much. A patch no wider than a saddle blanket. Anna scraped it away. Underneath was clear ice. Not snow frozen white, clear ice layered against the soil. Cal crouched beside her. Could be melt. In this cold, he pressed 2 fingers to the surface. The ice ran downhill from the buried pipe. They dug with a pick until the frozen earth gave way in chunks. The work took most of an hour and made Cal curse the ground, the weather, and eventually the person who had buried the pipe there in the first place. They found a joint wrapped long ago and patched more than once. Water seeped from it under pressure, vanished into the soil, then froze where the ground rose close enough to the surface. The leak was not dramatic. That was what made it dangerous. The windmill moved all day. The pump worked. The trough received water. Nothing looked broken from a distance, but the herd was being watered through a system that wasted part of every stroke before the water ever reached them. Kincaid stood over the hole after Cal fetched him. He said, "That's enough to kill 3 cows?" Anna shook her head. "I don't know." His face hardened a little, as if he had expected certainty in exchange for being inconvenienced. She continued, "I know they're not getting the water you think they're getting. I know some are eating snow. I know the better hay hasn't fixed the loss of condition. And I know this line is leaking while the trough stays low. That's enough for me to repair what we can prove." Kincaid stared down at the ice. "Ground's frozen for another 2 months. Then we dig frozen ground." Cal looked at him. Kincaid looked at Cal. Then Kincaid took off his coat, folded it across the fence rail, and picked up the second shovel. They repaired the exposed joint before dark and packed the line back in with dry soil and straw around the shallow section. By midnight, the trough had risen above Anna's knife mark. The next morning, cattle stood along both sides drinking without fighting for position. Kincaid watched from the gate. So that was it. Anna looked at the windmill. Maybe. He did not like that answer any more than the first one. But she had learned not to give relief a larger name than it had earned. For 2 days, the trough stayed higher. The cattle ate better. One cow that had been standing away from the feed rack pushed in with the others. Cal reported at breakfast as if he were mentioning the weather. But he had gone outside twice before finishing his coffee just to look again. On the 3rd night, the wind died. Not slowed. Died. The wheels stopped against a sky so clear the stars seemed sharpened by the cold. By dawn, the trough was nearly empty again. Kincaid came into the kitchen with ice on his beard and anger in his hands. The line's leaking somewhere else. Anna had already been outside, maybe. But the mill didn't turn for 10 hours. It never stops that long. It did last night. He paced once from stove to table. "I can't make wind. No. And I can't haul enough water for 68 head every time the air goes still. No." He looked at her sharply. "Do you have anything besides no?" Anna opened the ledger and turned it around. She had written 3 columns beneath the cattle expenses. Wind, trough level, herd behavior. "The leak was part of it," she said, "but the bigger problem is that you have no reserve. When the mill slows, the herd is living from the trough down. When it stops, there's nothing behind it. The system only works if the weather behaves the way you expect." Kincaid looked at the page. "There's a holding tank in the pump house, too small for a calm night." He rubbed his face. Cal sat by the stove, saying nothing. Anna said, "There's an old stock tank behind the machine shed, the one with the broken end boards." Kincaid looked up. "It hasn't held water in years. Then we make it hold water. We set it higher than the trough. Fill it whenever the wind gives us more than the cattle are taking, and let gravity carry us through the hours when the mill gives us nothing. In this weather, that tank weighs half a ton empty. Then we don't move it whole." Cal finally spoke. "I can take the side staves off by noon." Kincaid turned toward him. Cal shrugged. "She's been right twice enough for me to be curious about the 3rd time. The first repair had required a hole in frozen ground. The second required 3 days of labor Kincaid could not comfortably spare. They stripped the old tank, replaced the worst boards with sound lumber from a disused grain bin, tightened the iron bands, and set the rebuilt reservoir on a timber platform beside the pump house. They did not make it pretty, they made it tight. Anna insisted on one more thing, a simple overflow mark inside the reservoir and another knife line in the cattle trough. Kincaid laughed once when he saw her cutting it. Not because it was funny, because he had finally understood that she meant to measure everything he had spent years trusting by feel. The wind returned before the reservoir was finished. They filled it slowly, watching every seam. One leaked. Cal swore. Anna smiled for the first time since arriving. "Good," she said. Kincaid looked at her as if she had gone mad. "Good? Better here than under 3 feet of frozen ground." They drained the tank, tightened the band, reset the stave, and tried again. The second fill held. That evening the herd drank. The windmill turned, the trough filled. Water climbed in the reserve above it. Near midnight the wind dropped. Anna woke once and listened. No blades, no tower creak. Only the stove settling in the kitchen. At first light she pulled on her boots and went outside. The windmill stood still. The trough was half full. A steady, narrow flow came down from the raised reservoir. Cal was already there, leaning on the fence. He nodded toward the water. "Still coming." Anna checked the mark. "For a while. You ever say anything all the way hopeful?" "Not before breakfast." He laughed hard enough to fog the air. The proof came slowly, which made Anna trust it more. By the end of that week, the cattle no longer crowded the trough at first light. The snow along the fence stopped showing the same scratched, licked places. Feed that had been left in the racks began disappearing before evening. No more cows went down. Anna did not claim water had explained every weakness in the herd. Winter had been hard before she arrived, and several animals needed time to recover condition. The ranch still had only one windmill. The reserve would not carry 68 cattle through a long, calm spell, so they kept the water wagon ready. They rationed the reserve when the forecast in the sky looked wrong, and Anna kept writing down what the system actually did instead of what everyone expected it to do. That changed more than the trough. Kincaid began asking for the water page before he ordered feed. Cal started marking the reservoir level during his evening round without being asked. When a heifer stopped eating in February, they checked her water access before blaming the hay. When a pipe joint began frosting over near the pump house, Cal found it before a shallow leak had time to disappear underground. The ranch had not become safe. It had become watchful. By March, the worst of the cold had loosened. Snow pulled back from the south slopes. Mud appeared around the corral posts. The cattle looked fuller through the flank, and the first calves came with the unsettled weather of early spring. One was born during a sleet storm just before dawn. Kincaid and Cal worked the cow into the calving pen while Anna carried lanterns and dry sacking from the barn. There was no miracle in it. The calf came slowly, then lay in the straw while the cow cleaned it. Kincaid watched until it lifted its head. Then he looked toward Anna. "Water's good?" She almost laughed. "Water's good." He nodded once and went back to the calf. That was how trust changed on the ranch, not with speeches, with the order of the questions. Spring work arrived before anyone was ready. Fences sagged where snow had pressed them down. The north pasture needed clearing. 2 more calves required long nights. Kincaid sold fewer cattle than he had feared he would have to sell, and the money he did not spend chasing better hay went toward lumber and ironwork for a larger storage tank. Anna found the expense entered in the ledger one evening. Water reserve before next winter. The letters were Kincaid's. Underneath, in smaller writing, he had added, "Ask Anna before placement." She ran one finger over the line, then closed the book. She did not mention it at supper. A week later, the new timber platform stood on higher ground near the pump house. The larger tank would not be finished until summer, but the posts were set deep and square. Kincaid came into the kitchen after breakfast carrying a small iron ring with 2 keys on it. He placed them beside Anna's pencil. "Pump house and supply room," he said. She looked at the keys. "Cal has a set. Now you do too." He left before the sentence could become something larger. Anna finished the column she was adding, blotted the ink, and picked up the keys. Outside, the wind had started again. The mill wheel turned above the pasture, but she no longer watched the wheel to decide whether the ranch had water. She walked to the pump house, fitted one of the new keys into the lock, and opened the door.